St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And it's the final regular season home game. Game number 3, the Milwaukee Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals. Jim Hayes is here. That's the Mad Hungarian Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Cardinals baseball. 4 games left in this regular season, and every game a must-win.
That's it. And no longer do the Cardinals have control of their destiny. Their backs are up against the wall, so that really they have to win every single game, and then they've got to hope the Pirates can destroy the Cubbies the next 2 days before the Cardinals take on the Bears.
Take a look at our Budweiser What's on Tap and games of interest for all these teams in the pennant chase. It's the Budweiser What's on Tap. Chassin and John Gant tonight. Ivan Nova, Jose Quintana, the lefty of the Cubs. Nick Pivetta, German Marquez for the Rockies, and then Ross Stripling and Zach Greinke. Remember, the Rockies, they have a half-game lead over St. Louis, but only trail the Dodgers by a half game out west. Must-win territory, you bet. Game number 3, Cards, Brewers coming up. Budweiser, wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. By Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. And try something different, like Jack's Teriyaki Bowls, only at Jack in the Box for a limited time. It's been back and forth in the first 2 games of this series. The Milwaukee Brewers, and some frustration for the St. Louis Cardinals. And with that, the Cardinals now a half game out, the wild card chase. And along with Al Ravosky, Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. The Milwaukee Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals here in game number 3, the final home game, the regular season here at Busch Stadium. 67 degrees. And a look at the playoff picture. Milwaukee not only thinking about postseason play, but maybe, just maybe, a division championship. They're only a half game back of Chicago, and we'll keep an eye on both the Dodgers and the Rockies later tonight.
Well, you know, this weekend Milwaukee and their fans are going to be rooting for the Cardinals, because that's a real possibility. The Cubs a little bit vulnerable right now with injuries and suspensions.
Numbers on John Gant, and a loaded lineup for the Milwaukee Brewers. There's Christian Yelich. Yelich is 8 runs batted in. The Cardinals have 8 total in this series. That's how well he has played in the first couple of games. Kane at the top, then Yelich and Aguilar, followed by Travis Shaw, Ryan Braun, Mike Moustakas, Eric Kratz, Orlando Arcia, and Jhoulys Chacín. A win tonight, and the Brewers are celebrating here in St. Louis. The champagne is on ice. Their magic #1 to get into postseason play. First pitch by John Gant. The Cardinals need, obviously, a big start for him. How deep he might go, anybody's guess, but keep the team in the ballgame.
Yeah, realistically, you know, he's been averaging 5 innings a start. And boy, you'd love to get him through the 6th inning tonight.
That's off the end of the bat and foul. 0-2. The Hyundai pitch arsenal here for John Gant.
On the fastball, and then the changeup, the Vulcan changeup, the way he grips it, makes it a very effective pitch. Throw the occasional curveball and slider, but pretty much the 2-pitch fastball changeup.
And the 0-2. Line past Carpenter, and again Lorenzo Cain with his 5th 2-strike hit in this series.
They're swinging the bats as well right now as they have at any point this season. Just very relaxed up there.
Look at the Cardinals defensively. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Ozuna, Bader, and Martinez. Infield, Jerko, DeYoung, Wong, and Carpenter, and Yadier Molina behind the plate. 3 more errors last night by St. Louis, and that's now 127. And that really has not changed all that much under Mike Schilt with the defense. Now, the range has gotten better with Bader and Wong playing every day, but still seeing way too many errors.
Yeah. Cardinals at 127. Their opponents this year have only committed 84. Give you an idea.
Yelich, a long home run that he hit last night, went over the century mark in RBI. He's now at 104. The last time, by the way, the Cardinals led all of baseball in errors. And really, it's a testament to the organization and what they preach, fundamental baseball. The last time it happened, 1958.
Wow.
And that's not a stat you want attached to your club.
No, it's not. Not a good formula for trying to advance into postseason either.
And the 0-1. And it gets by Molina. So advancing Kane to second base.
John Gant has done a pretty good job of containing Yelich this year. And he's only allowed 9 home runs on the year, but 6 of them have been to left-handed batters. Wild pitch.
He had the bases clearing triple and then hit number 900 in his career, a 3-run blast for Brett Cecil. And the 1-1 pitch did not go. The Brew Crew, they've won 3 straight games. Yelich has driven in 11 of the team's 31 runs in those 3. And I would say he's made, I'm not sure you could be any better, but the strongest push of anyone in the National League for the MVP.
Absolutely. And what he's doing down the stretch has been so impressive. And that to me could be the difference maker.
Here's a 2-1 pitch to Yelich. Consider this: 47 runs batted in, and that's in 48 games combined in August and September. So when you want your best players to show up down the stretch, those are some amazing numbers. 48 driven in combined in August and September.
Yeah, I talked to him the first day of the series. Very, very likable guy. But after the game, talking with Bob Uecker, he said he insists on never talking about himself. Always talking about his teammates.
Here's a 2-2 pitch. Saw an interview with him on MLB Network, and to his credit, to further your point, he had just won the Player of the Week, and they always get those players on to have a visit, and they were asking questions about his season, and every time he answered, he deferred the questions to his teammates and team success, not individual goals. Here's a 3-2 pitch by Gant to Yelich. Fouled away. Good pitch in on his hands.
It's going to be a real key for both these starters, is going to be controlling the strike zone. Both of them kind of get maybe wearing down a little bit. Walks become a bigger issue. And the way that they're swinging the bats right now, John Gant cannot afford to walk anybody.
With the trio Braun, Kane, and Yelich in this series, now 11 for 26 combined. And Yelich so dangerous now here at the plate. Again, the 3-2 fouled back again. And when caught Molina. Milwaukee will finish up the season at home today, their final road game. And they have Detroit. The Cardinals go to Wrigley Field. Adam Wainwright, Kyle Hendricks, 1:20 on Friday. We'll have that game for you. This would be the 8th pitch coming up.
You just got to go out there and win your ball games. There's so many different scenarios that how the Cardinals can get into postseason play.
And a changeup taken low, so a base hit on an 0-2 pitch, and now a walk. And it brings in Jesus Aguilar. Aguilar homered in the first inning last night into the Cardinal bullpen for his 34th of the season.
Still just hit .217 against the Cardinals this year, but he does have 3 home runs and 8 RBIs. Kind of down with the batting average, but he is still a handful to deal with.
Everything has been away to Aguilar in this series. A lot of sliders away. That pitch in with a fastball, then he goes soft away.
But give him some credit because he hit the home run, like you said, in the opposite field into the Cardinal bullpen, and then later in the game he hit one. They had a shift on the infield and he hit one through the vacated second base area. So he's not just up there trying to swing for the fences.
Outfield deep, they are straight away, and a 1-0 pitch. Fouled back, 1-1. Leads the team with 17 double plays off his bat on the ground. Cardinals hoping to make it 18 right here, or get greedy. Why not a triple play? Haven't seen that in a while. Saw it in Toronto, I think, the last time we witnessed a triple play turn by St. Louis. Here's a 1-1 to Jesus Aguilar. Really took something off it there. 1-2 the count.
I have to believe that's a changeup right there. See the change up there. Kind of looks like a circle change, but then he has his 2 fingers, separates it between the middle finger and the ring finger.
With 2 strikes, Aguilar is driven in 62, most in baseball. And the 1-2 pitch here. Long look by Gant. Fouled back.
And Danny, how about yesterday? How many 0-2 pitches? They got base hits, and then the fact too, the Cardinals were getting ahead, getting the first 2 batters out, and couldn't finish off an inning. 11 of the 12 runs last night were scored with 2 outs. And in 4 of the 5 innings they scored, Cardinal pitchers got the first 2 guys out.
Got him. A strikeout for Gant. Elevated the fastball. Let's turn to your key to the game, presented by Toyota.
Well, we just want you to finish innings. Like we said last night, they really could not do that. They were scored in 5 innings to get their 12 runs. 11 of the 12 runs came after 2 outs. And in 4 of those 5 innings, the Cardinal pitchers got the first 2 men of the inning out. And yet they came back and scored and had big crooked numbers.
Wound up being a blowout game, but I mentioned it last night. Not sure if you or our viewers would agree, but Gio Gonzalez hitting .063 with a 2-out single. And that extended an inning, brought in a run. And I mean, that's one, if you get him there, the inning's done and you move on.
Yeah. Or, you know, even at that point, it was 3-0, and Tyson Ross came in and walked Kane to load the bases, and then Yelich had the triple with the bases loaded, clearing it. So, I mean, if you could have gotten out of that inning with a 2-run deficit or even 3 runs down, you'd like to think it would have been a different outcome.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Travis Shaw. Inside corner, 0-2.
Doing a good job of getting in on these left-handed batters. He did lose Yelich, but boy, there was several pitches in there, fouled off a couple tough ones.
Oh, 0-2 the count. Outfield deep, straight away for Shaw. Up and in, 96. Often overlooked, the good fastball, and I think a pretty good curveball too from Gant to go along with that changeup.
Yeah. Shaw has hitting 3 for 7 with a couple walks.
And the 1-2 pitch. Gant to Shaw here in the top of the first. In on his hands again. Pitching in tonight.
One of the things as a pitcher now, you have to watch the hitter's feet because he's establishing that he's going to go inside there. So let's see his shot doesn't open up a little bit, get a little back away from the plate a little bit. And if you as a pitcher don't follow that, you know, you could get him hitting on the sweet part of his bat. You think you're throwing it inside, but it would be like over the middle of the plate to him. See how he's just kind of opened up a little bit. Now he'll take the front leg and step towards the pitcher.
And the 1-2. A changeup taken low to even it up at 2-2.
Either way, it's going to be, barring a double play ball right here, it's going to be a long first inning pitch wise, and that's not good for the Cardinals.
Number 22 coming up for Gant. Any sign of trouble, you would assume that Mike Schilt will go to his bullpen. 4 games, including tonight, left in the season. The 2-2 pitch to Travis Shaw. Here it comes. And Shaw lifts a fly ball into right center. Bader with the catch. Runners stay put. And there's 2 away. That outfield, that trio, and you can see Shaw having words with the home plate umpire. It's Ted Barrett, the crew chief. He wanted to call time. It never was granted. Mentioned it earlier, though, but Braun and Kane and Yelich, those 3, they've had a big series. Kane, a lot of 2-strike hits, 5. And Ryan Braun, the 3 home runs. And Yelich, well, all he's done is driven in 8. Aguilar, the home run yesterday. So here's Ryan Braun. Runners at first and second. And a little chopper to third. Backs up Jerko and a forced play at second. The first 2 reached. A single to right. A walk by Yelich. And then the strikeout, fly out, and a ground out. No damage done. The Cardinals looking to get that salsa going. Bottom of the first rolls in, and there's no score. In game 2, back at the top of the lineup here for game 3. And then it's Martinez and DeYoung, Ozuna, Jerko, Molina, Wong, Bader, and the pitcher John Gant against Jhoulys Chacín. He was terrible for the longest time against the Cardinals, and the numbers, they were just eye-popping in a negative way for Chassin. 8 starts against St. Louis, 0-7. The Cardinals in those 8 starts hit above 300 against him. And then, of course, it's baseball. What does he do last time? 6 innings, 4-hit shutout baseball. He's made 33 starts this year. And in that start against the Cardinals, he didn't walk a batter, didn't give up a home run, and it's the only start he's had in which he's done that.
And was 4-hit shutout?
6 innings for him.
6 innings for him, but one thing he's had, and you can see still, they're 1-7 with that ERA over 6. Trouble getting the first guy out of an inning, and that could be big.
Up the middle and backhanded into the shift. Carpenter is the first out. Chassin, the pitch arsenal presented by Hyundai.
His fastball really isn't that not a high octane by any means, and the slider is his best pitch. It's what he really gets a lot of hitters out with.
Here's Jose Martinez for the Cardinals, their final regular season home game. It's the 15th consecutive year. 3 million plus fans. And the Cardinals in home attendance only behind the Yankees and the Dodgers. That's it.
And both those stadiums are much larger, so their capacity they should have, and also the drawing power of the #1 and #2 markets in the country.
Martinez 1 for 8 against this right-hander, and that one hit, a home run.
He's hit very well all season long, but particularly here at home, a .320 average at home. And a little bit of this homestand's been good for him also.
And the 1-1. Martinez leads the team here at Busch Stadium in average. Big happy birthday to Marie Strader. 101 and never misses a Cardinal game. Marie Strader, happy birthday. The 2-1. Martinez to left and caught on the track by Braun. It's 2 hard hit balls and nothing to show for it for the Cardinals. The Brewers defensively tonight as we go around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Braun, Kane, and Yelich in the outfield. On the infield, Moustakas, Arcia, Shaw, Aguilar, and Eric Kratz behind the plate. Paul DeYoung with 19 home runs. He's driven in 65.
Chassin has equaled his career high in wins, 14. He was 14-10 back in 2013 with Colorado. But really putting together a career year.
And chopped off the plate, foul. This weekend the matchups feature Wainwright, Hendricks. Saturday a good one, Michaelis and Cole Hamels. And then on Sunday, Jack Flaherty, Mike Montgomery. So a couple of lefties the Cardinals will face. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Paul DeYoung. And a liner, and that's caught. So 3 balls struck sharply by the Cardinals, but they go in order. We head to the second, and there's no score. More on that, we check in with Jim Hayes.
Dan, the Cardinals had been all but written off prior to the All-Star break, and they say they're not ready to concede anything now. Colton Wong told me that adversity of the first half will help them now. He told me we all believed in this team even when we were struggling. That says something about the confidence we have in each other. We just have to get back on a roll like we were just on. Mike Schilt was asked prior to the game if he had any specific message for his team. Dan, he said no. We all know what's at stake here.
Go get him.
That's it.
Here's the 0-1. Now 0-2. Mike and maybe Jimmy can comment on this. Jim's in that clubhouse day in and day out. We've noticed that Mike Schilt, I mean, he's a pretty even keel, cool customer. There's not a lot that he hasn't seen in the game all his years in managing. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Moustakas and a fly ball lifted out to left. But Jimmy, maybe you can comment on that, just how collected he is with the media before and after games.
Very collected, and it kind of mirrors the team, Dan. You know, this was a team that struggled badly early on, and we didn't see people hanging their heads, and then went on a roll after the All-Star break and changed the dynamics of the season. Yet we didn't see guys jumping up and down. The team is even keel, and so is Mike Schilt.
He's done a good job, regardless of what happens here, to get the Cardinals in this position. But when you get here, you get greedy.
Oh, absolutely.
You say, well, you're good enough to be in this position. Now go win it.
You know, a lot of people talk about the young pitchers, you know, maybe hitting the wall a little bit. All those things are true, and all of them, you know, stand for it. But these young guys in the minor leagues have been winning championships, so they just took another step forward and expect to win. It's not easy to win. You got to work hard, and that's the case these guys do. You know, think where they are without. You lost Wainwright for 4 months. You lost, you know, Waka for what, 2, 3 months. You know, Carlos is now in your bullpen, not in that rotation. There's a lot of really good things that have happened this year and look very promising when you move forward. But no matter what happens in these next 4 games, I'll say it again, that these guys are getting very valuable experience right now.
Here's a ground ball. Colton Wong to his left. Carpenter back to the bag for the out. So with 2 outs and nobody on, we tell you about as the stage is set, the lights are on. Baseball's next generation chases October's crown. MLB.com/postseason for the full playoff schedule. Orlando Arcia. And a base hit into center. So again, a 2-out hit for the Brewers. And Chacin will come up batting 167.
Yeah, but like you said, you know, if you retire the 8th place hitter right here and he gets the breaking ball, stays up, you know, then you got the pitcher. What you'd like to think, you get the easy 1 out the next inning. But by the 8th place hitter Arcia getting the base hit, they get the pitcher through the inning. Little things, but they add up.
Short lead at first. 2 outs. And strike 1. The 11 2-out runs scored last night. Most in a game by the Brewers since 2010. Outfield shallow. And an 0-1 pitch. Phillies at Colorado later tonight. Pivetta 7-13 against Marquez. Rockies now own the second wild card spot. Half game behind the Dodgers for the West lead. Dodgers at Arizona. Stripling and Greinke. Greinke 14-11. And Pittsburgh at Chicago. Nova, Quintana. The Cubs only a half game lead in front of the Brewers in the NL Central.
Cubs and Pirates play again tomorrow. And Colorado has to play also tomorrow.
And then the Rockies will welcome the Nationals to town over the weekend. Dodgers will be in San Francisco. Pulled foul. Luckily, no one was hit by that baseball, just frightened. You could understand why.
Oh, absolutely.
It was a rocket he hit.
They're calling for intended to come down.
There's a foul ball. Yeah, anytime a foul ball is in the seats, they will call down the ushers.
Just to check.
Yep, make sure everybody's all right.
Lady behind her might have got hit on air or scared to death.
And the 2-2 pitch. Tapped foul. Two balls and two strikes. Boston in a nail biter, 19-3 over Baltimore. It's a long year, boy, for the Orioles.
Ooh.
The 2-2 again. And taking a bit low.
Baltimore's 112th loss.
Wow.
And Boston's 107th victory. 107-51.
Boston 15-2 this year against the Orioles. 15-2.
Well, you know what, Dan, we're going to look back. Whatever happens in these 4 games, the Cardinals' problem this year.
That's hit out to left, and Ozuna will make the catch.
And couldn't get it. The bad teams didn't have a good enough record against the bad teams, the 500 teams.
Home screen icons, MLB.TV, game of the day, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. It was this date in Cardinals history. Bob Forsch, a no-hitter in 1983 against the Expos. Faced 2 over the minimum. He hit 1 man. 1 reached on a Ken Oberkfell error. There were some Hall of Famers in that lineup for the Expos. Andre Dawson, Gary Carter, Tim Raines, they went a combined 0 for 8. Terry Francona, he was the leadoff man that day against Bob Forge.
Bob Forge, the only Cardinal pitcher to ever author 2 no-hitters. And he and his older brother Ken Forge, the only brothers combination in Major League history to both have a no-hitter.
Bob wound up with 163 wins with the Cardinals, 168 total, but third all time in Cardinals history in wins. Take a guess, 1983. And this is coming off a world championship year. And we know about the boost in attendance that you can get with winning baseball. And the team was good in the strike shortened split year, if you will. And then 82 they win. 1983 he throws a no-hitter. Give me what you think.
What the size of that crowd was?
Yeah.
12,000.
First of all, that's a good play.
Yes.
Second of all, very well done. 12,457 to see the action that day. It took 2 hours and 15 minutes. And now there's probably about 80,000 people that'll tell you they were there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Right back at Chassin and catches it.
12,000 to see that no-hitter by Bob Forge. Times have changed. There's another hard hit ball. That's 5 now that have come up, stung the ball for the Cardinals, and nothing to show for it. Yadier Molina, 3-run homer last night, his 20th of the season.
0-2 pitch. Look at where that ball was, just above the strike zone, and he jumps on it. Mentioned his 20th home run. Second time he's had 20 home runs.
Kubota power stats: Carlton Fisk 83, 84, 85, 87, age 35 or beyond with 20 or more home runs. Piazza, Posada, AJ Pierzynski, and Yadier Molina. Pretty select company. It's amazing, by the way, Al, when you go back and you look at some of the photos at Busch Stadium 2 in particular. Cavernous, big, and many nights empty. Out to center. And that'll be a 7-pitch inning. Chassin not fooling many, but getting away with it. 6 up, 6 down. postseason play Friday night. You can watch the game live on Fox Sports app and foxsportsgo.com. Blues host the Stars Friday night. Stream it live on the Fox Sports app and at foxsportsgo.com. Home opener will be October 4th. Hour-long pregame show that night. Sun setting and shining, glaring off the Gateway Arch here in downtown St. Louis. A ball and a strike on Kane. Gant 9 of 10 first pitch strikes, and that's obviously big for him. Al talked about it. A lot of walks in September from Gant after a magnificent August that he put together. And a fly ball into right. Jose Martinez there to make the catch.
And you look at all the young starters for the Cardinals. They all have pitched very well up to September 14th. And then they've kind of had their problems since that time. But hopefully Gant can go out here and eat up some more innings, get deep into this ball game, and let Mike Shildt figure out a way how to pull out the victory.
So 1 out, and now Yelich walked back in the first. Start the ball game, it was a single on an 0-2 pitch by Kane, and then Yelich walked, and Gant had to pitch out of trouble. They're talking about Bob Forsch's no-hitter, the last no-hitter by Cardinal Bud Smith, 2001 against San Diego. And there have been some near misses since then. One-hitters, there have been 6. And a couple of those were taken into the 9th inning. Twice by Adam Wainwright. Here's a 2-0 pitch.
About the one Shelby Miller threw and Walker threw.
It was 2013. Shelby Miller. So Eric Young Jr. get a base hit, and then he retired the next 27 in a row.
And then Walker took his into the 9th inning, right?
Did that a couple of times. Did that earlier this year against the Phillies.
And we got a little glimpse back in 2013 what was going to happen in the postseason with that last start against was it Washington?
Ryan Zimmerman got an infield hit just over his outstretched glove. One of the best one-hitters was in 2005. I remember Chris Carpenter going back to Toronto, team that gave up on him, and boy, he was, let's just say, a little fired up that night. Won the Cy Young that season too. Reyes had a one-hitter against the White Sox in 06
and lost. Remember, Jim told me.
Yep. 1 out and a runner at first base. Jim Thome will be honored at the Musial Awards, which is put on by the St. Louis Sports Commission. That's coming up this offseason.
Gibby threw one against Pittsburgh, but he kind of felt like he would never throw one because he was a fly ball pitcher.
He got it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
If I remember right, the last play was a fly ball to left field caught by Ted Sizemore.
For Gibson's no-hitter?
Yeah.
I thought it was a strikeout. A strike call.
You
and a
remember?
no-hitter for Gibson. That's what comes to mind for me.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it was the first out then.
You'd think of listening to Jack Buck's call on so many highlights, and I think it was. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jaime Garcia against Milwaukee early in 2016 had a one-hitter against these Brewers.
I think your John Miller impersonation was a little better than Jack Buck.
Well, I have different Jack Bucks, but that's the tone I remember for that one.
Well, you could tell, yeah, because you could tell how excited he was. He was almost in tears.
Yes.
So I amend that statement. You're right, it was high-pitched.
Here's a 1-2 pitch now to Aguilar. Runner at first, Yelich. Aguilar lines it into left field. And Yelich with his speed on his way to third. If memory serves correct, Willie Stargell was called out on strikes for the final out. I'll have to look it up. And now I'm told it was. Call looking Willie Stargell. Runners at the corners, and now some problems here. Travis Shaw coming up. Well, how about Yelich and how smooth he is running around the bases? What a player.
You know, he has that advantage. You can see that ball's go over shortstop, knows it's going to be out into left center, and knows about the throwing arm of his former teammate Osuna. So only one place to be, and that's third base.
That throw into second base. Advanced scouting. At some point you may see Ozuna get burned if he lobs it into second base. A guy like Yelich, send him.
Come on home.
Yeah. Here's an 0-1 pitch now to Shaw. And it's 1-1. And the 1-1 pitch. Base hit into right, and an early lead now for Milwaukee. Aguilar from first to third. The throw is offline, but they got him. Aguilar took a chance. So did Martinez. And that's a big second out.
Really is. At first I'm thinking, oh no. Miss the cutoff man. They can put the batter into scoring position. Shaw ends up taking second on the throw, but you did get a productive out. So nice going. Came in here, he charged. You can see him right there. You see the high trajectory, so the batter knows he can go to second base. And then the tag by Jerko as Aguilar tries to go around the tag, but is tagged out.
So 2 outs and a runner at second base. First pitch is strike. Second career outfield assist for Jose Martinez.
Got to keep the score 1-0. Can't give him a second run.
Cardinals now playing catch up again tonight. It's been all series long. Essentially, for a brief time, they had a lead in game 1. 0-2, the count on Braun. In all 3 games, Milwaukee has scored first. Runner at second base, Travis Shaw. The outfield deep. They are straight away for Ryan Braun. The changeup taken low. Cardinals have led for a half inning in this series. That's been it.
Yep.
A ball and 2 strikes on Ryan Braun, runner at second base. Travis Shaw outfield deep. Cardinals will have Wong, Bader, Gant coming up in the home half of the third. The pitch count already at 57. And the 1-2. Hit to third. Jerko with it, playing near the line. The single by Shaw to bring in Yelich. 1-0 Brewers. Call it Mobab. And by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Pick your power, fuel, or battery with Steel. Search STIHL. 1-0 our score. Cardinals looking for their first hit. And a strike to Colton Wong. It was this date, 1985, John Tudor became a 20-game winner. And it was his major league leading 10th shutout. 5-0 over the Phillies. There was a most by a left-hander in terms of shutouts since Sandy Koufax in 1963, and that was a year John Tudor began the season 1-7 and then won 20 of 21. His ERA was 1.37 and finished up on the year 1.93 and had 21 wins. And it was a correction of mechanical issue that he had. There's a ground ball that's hit by Wong. Former high school coach watching him in a game of the week and noticed a mechanical flaw and got to John Tudor, changed him, and it changed the fortunes of his season and the Cardinals in 1985. That was unbelievable.
I remember we were in Houston, and it was somebody on Houston's team was a very, very good pitcher, but it was also off to a horrible start.
Mike Scott, maybe?
I'm not sure, but it'd be of that ilk, you know. Foul ball there, but and it was like the game, and it was like, you know, two very accomplished pitchers, and you just both of them just had horrible games. Might have been his 7th loss. You see that ball running right in on him. Look at where the fingers are. She's showing bunt.
John Tudor was awesome in 1985. Yeah. Hit to short. Number 2, Bader hustling down the line, and it brings in Gant.
Once he got going, he could just throw that dead fish changeup down and away, just almost, to every right-handed batter, and nobody could hit it. Just impeccable control. And you talk about a fierce competitor.
I think eventually he goes into the Cardinal Hall of Fame.
Oh, sure. Like we said, Danny, everybody that's been on the ballot is deserving. Just got 125 years or more of history you're trying to catch up on.
Tudor had a 2.25 ERA in his career with the Cardinals. Go back to last night. That's now 15 in a row set down by Brewers pitching. Start this game 8 in a row for this right-hander.
And it's just unbelievable. Prior to his last start against the Cardinals, the pitcher that we used to see, no matter what uniform he was wearing on, the Cardinals were going to tattoo him.
Yep. Here's a 1-1. August, September. Last 5 in August, ERA just over 2, right around 4.5. And not going deep into games in September as Gant strikes out. So that's 9 up, 9 down. It'll be Moustakas, Kratz, and Arcia coming up for the Brewers. Jim Hayes, what do you have about that situation last night with Matt Carpenter?
It was a situation. Mike Shildt was defending Matt before the game today. Carpenter was ejected for arguing balls and strikes by Will Little last night, and Shildt got the boot soon after. Shildt said Matt didn't take himself out of the competition. The umpire did. Matt knows what the lines and boundaries are. He was in control of his emotions. Next thing I know, he's gone. That's when Shildt got fired up defending Carpenter. Dan, Shildt said this of his ejection: don't mess with family. It doesn't happen much. When it does, you handle it appropriately. You mentioned Shildt even keel, got a little fired up last night, Dan.
Jimmy, don't take sides against the family.
Never take sides against the family, Dan.
All right, Fredo, thank you. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That was good, Dan.
Jimmy's not our Fredo, though. He's our Michael Corleone. Good changeup. 1-2.
Dan, you're like Tom. You're out. Tom, can you get me off the hook for old time's sake?
Can't do it, Sally.
Nice.
2-2 the count. Mike Moustakas, Eric Kratz, and Orlando Arcia. Ooh, just missed on the inside corner.
Good pitch, though. Gonna miss, you miss inside, not over the middle of the plate.
And spoiled. And the leadoff man again is aboard.
Third walk.
Big happy birthday to Mary Jane Kelly. Watches all the Cardinal games. And that's the mom of Ryan Kelly, who's been with Fox Sports Midwest for so many years. Longtime advertiser. Appreciate that. And also a happy birthday to Mary Jane Kelly.
Let's get her a victory.
Be a nice present.
On a double play ball up the bat of Kratz. You know, we were just talking about that. We know that Gant walks too many, third most in the National League.
A pitch inside to Kratz, grounded out to second, first time up.
Third highest walk rate in the National League behind Robbie Ray. It was just a shade under 5.
And because of that, Al, I would think that you got to get somebody up right now. I mean, this game is too important. You can't have it unravel.
You can see him starting to stir in the bullpen. Already down by 1. You can't give him up anymore.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. A ball and a strike. And as we say that, yep, they go to the phone and make sure that they are protected and ready to go.
Shreve.
And that's upstairs. Tried to call timeout but did not get it.
That's at least the third time I've seen one of their hitters try to call time. It's not been granted. And that's what it is. It's a request that has to be granted by the umpires. We've seen in the first 2 games a lot of them really late called timeouts.
And it's hit to the right side. Diving stop by Wong and takes a hit away.
That's the type of defense we've seen from Colton Wong. Boy, that ball gets by him. You got first and third and nobody out, but you get the first out of the inning here. So it goes to his left, gets on the grass, dives for it, scrambles up and throws it out the catcher Kratz. That's a big time play. I've seen Colton Wong, his defense just this year just been very good. Still has committed 8 errors.
And that pitch inside.
Wong has hit very well the second half of the season. But the one thing he's going to have to do is going to have to be more reliable and stay on the field more. You know, seems like he's always going on the DL for once or twice a season.
Here's Orlando Arcia, the 8th place hitter. A base hit to center, first time up. And out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. And it's the lefty. And now Dominic Leone on the left side joining him. Just added that camera angle here in the last month or so, and a chance to see the guys warm up close. And the 1-1 pitch to Arcia.
I was kind of wondering where the right-hander was, because, you know, the lefty Shreve is getting ready for Yelich, but that's still 3 more batters away. If he didn't give up, if he gave up a hit there and maybe another one here, you want to bring in a right-hander right away.
Yeah. Two balls and a strike. With 1 out and a runner at second base. And the next by Gant. Taken high, 3-1.
All the young starters, we kind of forget about Gant a little bit, that he's just 26.
Picked up in the Jaime Garcia deal. Garcia now with the Chicago Cubs, for fans that don't know. The 3-1 pitch to Arcia. Chopped to short. Play in front of him and a rundown.
Oh boy.
Stayed in that rundown long enough, and you could see DeYoung not real pleased with himself. There could have been a tag there to run him back to second and minimize all the throws.
I thought that Jerko was going to do a good job there. You know, he got him going back to second base, but then he gave the ball too soon and allowed the runner to reverse. So gets him in here now, running back further, running back. Wong started backing up instead of going forward. Do it right, you should only have 1 throw.
And now Chacin with 2 outs and a runner at second base. And runner at second base is Arcia. The 1-0 pitch by John Gant. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Cardinals have the top of the lineup in the bottom of the 4th with Carpenter, Martinez, and DeYoung. Still looking for their first hit. They had some hard hit balls, especially early against Chacin, but nothing to show for it. Big gap in left center, and the 1-1 pitch. Gant to his counterpart, Chacin. Popped up to the right side. Carpenter over, might be playable. No, out of play. 1-2 the count. One ball and 2 strikes. And the next by Gant. Struck him out. Pitcher's out of trouble again. His second strikeout, and the top of the lineup coming up. Carpenter, Martinez, DeYoung. season. Gives us a chance to thank the men and women of our crew that put in so many hours. Don and Tim Garcia up here, Mitch Smith, Tony West, all our cameramen and women that are here through the heat, the cold, the rain. Even had some snow earlier this year, and they do such a great job, and we appreciate everything they've done for us throughout this 2018 season.
Ready to get some runs?
I think this is a big inning with this trio coming up.
You got to get it started.
Yeah, get something going.
You know, Carp's had such a great year. Got to finish it strong these last 4 because he's had a tough go recently.
Grounded into the shift. 2 balls, no strikes.
4 for 22 in the homestand. Did get his 36th home run. As he goes, the Cardinals go.
He is 1 for 9 in the series. To further your point.
Yeah. Look at the gap in left center.
The 2-1 pitch to Carpenter. 2-2.
Not afraid to hit with 2 strikes, and obviously was looking for something else.
Three and 2. Pittsburgh a 1-0 lead over the Cubs as they go to the bottom of the first, and the Phillies and Rockies coming up later tonight, as well as the Dodgers and Arizona against Zach Greinke. How about home run number 37 or a walk? Anything. A base hit. The Cardinals will take it.
It's first base run.
Craig Counsell, 14 seasons in the big leagues as a player, and he has been in some pressure spots. 1997, you may recall, he scored the winning run, Game 7 of the World Series. That was against the Indians on Edgar Renteria's single, and he had tied the game in the bottom of the 9th with a sac fly. And then in 2001, one of the great World Series ever, the Diamondbacks and the Yankees, he was the MVP of the NLCS against Atlanta. And in the World Series against New York, he took a pitch off his arm, which is often forgotten after the control of Mariano Rivera. You know, you think about the great cutter and control. Well, he took a pitch off his arm to load the bases in the 9th. And then it was Luis Gonzalez. Yep, singled in the winning run of Game 7. So he's been in some pressure spots as a player, and now he'll experience postseason play as a manager. Wonder what's tougher.
Oh, it's easy as a player. You know, I mean, you're thriving on here.
It's out of your control,
it's
right?
out of your control. You know, you prepare everything, and then it's up to the execution of your players. When he crossed the plate in 1997, I was in Sardinia. On a USO tour.
Out of play.
Watching that game, I think it was around 4:30 in the morning.
It's Charles Nagy on the mound. Memory serves correct, and it just went over his glove off the bat of Renteria. And then the Marlins dismantled that team.
There's another Cardinal Hall of Famer, probably, Edgar Renteria.
Good shortstop, good player.
Good offensive player along with his defense.
Traded for Braden Looper, who's back in the Cardinals organization in the front office. Here's a 1-2. He hung it, but Martinez just got a piece. Ryan Ludwig was at the ballpark last night, part of the Budweiser Bash. Ludwig, Looper. Cardinals have Orlando Palmeiro, name you may remember from the past, working with some of the players. Jason Isringhausen as well in the minor leagues. All very highly thought of in terms of straight shooters with young players. Oof.
Oh, another hanger. Chassin has allowed 17 home runs. Walks have been a problem this month. But he's just walked one. That was Carpenter, who's on first now.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Got him. Strikeout of Martinez, second tonight. And it brings in DeYoung. 2019 Cardinals cruise sailing through the Mexican Riviera. On board will be manager Mike Schilt, Alex Reyes, Brian Eversgerd, Cardinals Hall of Famer Vince Coleman, and maybe even you. Cardinals.com/cruise.
In the back of our minds, we think of Alex Reyes, but boy, next year we can't wait to see. Still young enough where he could have a terrific career, but really hasn't pitched for 2 years.
Talking with Alex the other day, he said, probably in the best shape I've been in.
Yeah.
Working out very, very hard. We noticed how much he had slimmed down from the year before.
Yeah, I was going to say that in spring training, you know, his body had really changed for the better.
In terms of throwing, October he'll start to gear it up, and cross your fingers, knock on wood, that everything's going to be okay and could have a normal season. And boy, if he was healthy this year, we might not be talking about the Cardinals a half game out in the wild card. He's that good. Pass Moustakas into left, and Carpenter to third. DeYoung to second on a bullet off his bat. It's ruled a double, and the Cardinals have their first hit.
Moustakas, a good fielding third baseman. He tried to backhand this, but as you said, it's breaking balls up, really ripped, going right there, and it just ate him up. 1 out now. The Cardinals have 2 in scoring position for Osuna, who's been their hottest hitter in the month of September.
293 with runners in scoring position. The outfield extremely deep for the Brewers. This crowd ready to make some noise. 1 out, second and third. And a fastball taken low. They begin to stir a little bit in the bullpen for Milwaukee, and like I thought, the second time through, I mean, he really wasn't fooling anybody first time through.
No, and you know, they got a chance to clinch their postseason tonight. They have tomorrow off, so they can afford to go to their bullpen a little quicker, or their late inning relievers a little bit sooner.
18 runs batted in for Marcell Ozuna, second most on the team in September. A hitter's count here. He had a line drive that turned into a home run in game 1. That was off of Josh Hader. And a long look by Chassin, and now he's set. We've noticed the Brewers pitch to pitch moving, and sometimes when the pitch is on its way they are moving, and that was the case with the second baseman Travis Shaw.
Yeah, I watched that too, and it almost looked like, well, why not stop right behind second base and kind of have a moving target there. These guys are so good over their concentration. You know, they can zoom in on the release point.
Chase ball 4. First inning 12 pitches, second 7, third 10, and this inning 19 coming up. Jerko on deck. And time called.
Best pitch is a slider. That's the pitch that he just got him right there, thinking that he was going to throw a strike with a fastball, and two slider off the plate for 3-1.
Bases loaded.
You don't think Jed Jerko would like to atone for last night, do you?
Yes, sir.
Another opportunity with the bases loaded.
He's been hanging some of these breaking balls. He challenges Jerko. We talk about it all the time with a fastball. You can get some damage here.
If you're looking fastball and you get a hanging slider, you can still adjust real easy to that one. Used to be guys think, well, everything's hard. That's easy to hit.
Ball one. Molina on deck. Inning started with a walk by Carpenter. Martinez struck out. Double by Paul DeYoung. Walk to Ozuna. And they're loaded up for Jerko.
Big gap in left center again here. At the Kane, the center fielder, shading towards right. I like that box go sign out there.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Going for Big Macland.
The lefty Cedeno up. Thinking about late innings for the Brewers. Hader could probably give them one after a long outing in game 1. Knebel off limits. He's pitched in back-to-back games, and Jeremy Jeffress would be available as well.
Got Junior Guerra also warming up along with Cedeno, the lefty.
The 1-1 pitch to Jed Jerko. And Jerko hits a high fly ball out to left. That's Ryan Braun. He'll make the catch. The throw to the plate is wide. And with that, we're tied. It's 1-1.
Jerko likes a high fastball. That's a hanging slider, but still it's up, and that produces a lot of fly balls. In this case, it's a sac fly. Cardinals tied the game. So 2 outs, runners at first and second for Molina.
Big gap in right center. He fly to center first time up.
His home run last night was to left, but we've seen a lot of hits out to right center. Kind of surprising a little bit too, with a pitcher that throws so many sliders that ideally would be away from him. Now he's so good at taking that ball to the opposite field.
You got to think the lefty Cedeno's getting loose for Colton Wong, who's at the on-deck circle.
3 days in a row for Cedeno, but he hasn't pitched long.
And there's ball 1. Cubs have come back. They have a 2-1 lead against Pittsburgh. It's in the bottom of the second. The gap in right center is huge. Kane shading him in left center. The shortstop Arcia could play back knowing the speed of Molina. He's not at 100% either. Makes sense. Hitters count, 2 balls, no strikes. It's a big pitch right here. The 2-0. Molina, diving stop, Moustakas, and what a play. That saves a run and takes a hit away. Moustakas, outstanding play. We're tied. It's 1-1. Velocity separation, the highest in the National League among starters with at least 100 innings pitched. Fastball, changeup, big difference, about 12 miles per hour. 1-1 our score. And the first pitch is strike to Lorenzo Cain. Pitch count at 79. Gant spot is due up third for the Cardinals in the bottom of the fifth, and still Shreve and Leone throwing in the Cardinals pen.
Out of my mind, one man gets on base, might go to the bullpen.
Now Leone sits and Hudson is up. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One and 2 the count. Cain tonight singled to right on an 0-2 pitch and flied out to right. With 2 strikes, the Cardinals cannot get him out. He's had 5 2-strike hits in the series.
Contrast with Carpenter, you know, King goes up there swinging. He may swing at the first pitch, or like you say, both of them have high on base percentages.
Hits it up the middle, but there's DeYoung quickly to first, and they get him. I mean, you may go get a lefty right here to face Yelich.
He's making the move right now.
So taking no chances here. And Shreve will come in to face Christian Yelich. Yelich, a pair of walks and a run scored tonight. And that's it for Gant. So he pitches into inning number 5, and with 1 out, the game tied 1-1. Yelich coming up. Lefty-lefty matchup when we come back. majority of the Cardinals may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Chase and Shreve are Chevy called to the pen to face Yelich here. Then a right-handed batter, Aguilar, and Travis Shaw after that. Yelich batting .321 against the lefties, .321 against the righties. And the first pitch taken for a ball.
Dominic Leone is warming up there. He's been up there for a while, so this could be a one batter appearance for Shreve.
So it's the second time that Leone has gotten up. And with the pitcher spot coming up in the bottom of the fifth, all goes to plan. You would not, I would assume, want to have Hudson come in and clean up an inning. You'd rather have him start an inning.
I think he's warming up again, so that would be the case. You get this combination of Shreve and maybe Leone to get out of this fifth inning, and then Hudson can start the sixth clean. But just keep sure the game is tied going into the bottom of this inning.
2-1 the count on Yelich.
Yelich really does hit left-handed pitching very well.
Came in fourth in runs batted in. One back of his teammate Aguilar. Arenado at 105 and Javi Baez at 110. And he walked him. That'll be it for Shreve. This would be a double switch.
Munoz.
Third walk issued by, or rather to Yelich, and so now with the double switch, Hudson can clean this up, and then all goes to plan, give you a little bit more.
And Munoz going in to play third.
Think about later in the game, if you need a lefty, you've got now Webb or Cecil available, so you've used Shreve, and You never know, that comes into play later in the game, but right now it's Dakota Hudson.
And Dakota Hudson, All-Star AAA, not only that, but also the Pacific Coast League Pitcher of the Year. He's got 17 wins between his 13 in Memphis and 4 here in St. Louis. Pitched very well here at home. He's had his problems giving up runs on the road, but he's done the job here in St. Louis. He allowed 1 unearned run at home in 11 innings, 12 appearances.
And he gets a little ground ball out in front of the plate. Molina to first. Aguilar retired. 1 pitch and out number 2.
Tremendous sinker, and so you look for the ground balls. He's had some trouble with the movement, so much movement that he's walked a few guys, but obviously they're pitching Dakota Hudson out of the bullpen this year, but I think it's kind of 50-50 whether he goes into the rotation or a bullpen guy next year.
You have Travis Shaw here with 2 outs and a runner at second base. And a ball outside. Shaw with an RBI single back in the 3rd and also fly to center. It's a second game with 3 walks this season for Christian Yelich. He's at second base. And the 1-0. A ball and a strike. The 2-1 hit out of play. Cardinals have 7, 8, and 9 coming up. Wong, Bader, Munoz.
Seen a lot of Cardinal rallies that they start with the bottom of the order and then turn it over to the top and keep it rolling.
Hudson pitched 2/3 of an inning on Monday. Fourth appearance in the last 8 days. Cardinals have gone to him a ton here down the stretch.
They've had to go to that bullpen far too often. Young guys in the rotation kind of struggled the last couple of weeks and not going deep into games and an overworked bullpen.
3-2 the count. Braun on deck. First base open, so does not have to give in to Shaw here, but playing with fire. The 3-2 pitch. Fouled back.
Lefties have hit Shaw or Hudson 263. Righties 143.
It's another 3-2 pitch. Hudson. Little flare out to left, and the Brewers will go back on top. Scoring Yelich. So the walk again comes back to haunt the Cardinals. Yelich has walked 3 times. He scored twice.
Three-two pitch, throw a strike, backdoor breaking ball, stays up middle of the plate, not hit hard, but just over the infield for the RBI. 84th RBI for Travis Shaw. Wow.
So here's Ryan Braun, 0 for 2 in the walks again, coming back to haunt the Cardinals. Just can't have it happen.
No.
And also something that you look at here at the tail end of the season, Cardinals need a lefty. They've got to get a lefty to get lefties out. And, you know, I'm not sure at this point Mike feels comfortable with certain guys in certain spots. And so that's why you see Hudson here, or other times down the stretch where you'd say, well, do you go to the lefty? But Brett Cecil's had a tough year. Webb more of a guy that can help you clean up an inning. Shreve has been hit and miss. You know, that one lefty that can come in and you know it's going to be tough.
Well, when they acquired through free agency and got Brett Cecil, they thought they had that guy. But it's been a tough go the first 2 years of a 4-year contract for Cecil. But I totally agree with you. That's got to be a major priority.
And Braun hits it down the right field line, slicing foul and out of play. 6 of the walks the Brewers have received in this series have come around to score.
I'll show you right there. I mean, they got too much firepower. Put on a free pass, you just ask them for trouble.
One and two the count on Braun. 2-1 Milwaukee here in the top of 5. Braun grounded into a fielder's choice both times over at third base. 0 for 2 those ground outs. And the 1-2 pitch pulled foul. Only run that the Cardinals have scored tonight came on a walk to start an inning in the 4th by Carpenter, and came around to score in the sac fly by Jed Jerko with the bases loaded. 2-1 our score here. 1 ball 2 strikes on Braun. And a ground ball off the glove of Munoz. And the inning is extended. An error on Munoz, and he's committed 3 errors. 2 on Sunday and now here tonight in just the last 4 days.
Sinker and get the ground ball you're looking for off his glove. Hit him in the heel of the glove there, and then he failed to pick it up.
For the Cardinals right now, that extends the inning for Hudson, and you would love to see him give you not only this inning but probably next.
Well, that's why they brought in, you know, the double switch to give him that opportunity.
Here's a 1-0 now to Mike Moustakas with 2 runners on. 1 ball 1 strike. With that slider, and always makes you a little leery. Right-handed pitcher with a slider to a lefty.
Most of the time they're, you know, low ball hitters.
Sometimes if you're not on top of it, it just spins.
You know, the backdoor slider that Shaw hit stayed up.
And the 1-1. It's sharply to short. DeYoung will step on the bag. The base hit by Travis Shaw to bring in Yelich in a 2-1 game. excitement. It's fun. But what happens when the kid gives it to the adult? Watch this. And the reaction of the adult is like a kid. I love it. Good stuff. That guy, he is emotional and fired up.
He is.
There's a drive into right field. Off the bat of Wong, and the catch is made by Yelich. I love that. Nice work,
Dad.
young
Come on,
man.
Dad, give it to me. Don't give it away, Dad. And then did you see the reaction after he gave it? He looked up at his dad like, ha. I'll show you.
It's good stuff.
A man is well on his way. Be a politician.
Harrison Bader, no balls and 2 strikes. Bader grounded out to short first time up. The check swing, and he did go. It's a strikeout. And that's a third for Chacin. And from the Brewers' perspective, this is what they want to see, a shutdown inning here in the bottom of the 5th after retaking the lead.
Harrison didn't think he went, but he did go too far. And you're absolutely right, Danny. Your team gets you the lead. It's a double whammy, you know, or double accentuation, because you know you want to have a shutdown inning because your team got you the lead, and you also want to get this 5th inning over to qualify for your career high 15th win. And it's up to the Cardinals to take it away from them.
And Munoz hits a shallow fly ball, center field, 6-pitch inning. We head to the 6th. 2-1 Milwaukee. Wrigley Field. Friday will come your way 12:30 on Fox Midwest. Saturday it's on locally Channel 2 KTVI. And then Sunday we wrap up the regular season 1:30 on Fox Sports Midwest. There's There's Eric Kratz in the second inning of work for Dakota Hudson. 2-1 our score. Cardinals have been out hit 5-1 and they trail 2-1. Nothing in 2. And the 0-2 pitch taken low. Cardinals will have Carpenter, Martinez, and DeYoung. See what the Brewers want to do. Would they allow Chacin to face the Cardinals a third time through? He's given up just 1 hit. He is due up third for Milwaukee in this inning. And a strikeout of Kratz.
Cardinals love Hudson and his sinking fastball. 97, you see the downward action on it. Pacific Coast League Pitcher of the Year.
Here's Arcia, 1 for 2. And the first pitch taken for a ball.
It'd be hard to envision that the Cardinals would plan on sending him back to Memphis. So, the decision would be whether he's going to be a late inning reliever or in the rotation. As Carson Kelly, I said, of all the great young arms you had down there in Memphis, who was the best? He said, we had great arms, but he said, I liked Hudson the most.
1 ball and 1 strike on Orlando Arcia. The Brewers will indeed go to their bullpen with the top of the lineup coming up and a pinch hitter on deck.
Yeah, I mean, they're really rarely will they ever let their pitcher go 3 times through an order.
And you'd have to think with Carpenter coming up, they'll start with a lefty and then go to a righty. I mean, if they began a game with Jennings to face Carpenter, they would certainly do that here in the bottom of the 6th and potentially a 1-run lead. 3-1 pitch, 3-2.
Somewhat surprised they didn't start Jennings 3 games this series.
Could have done it.
Could have done it. You know, face Carpenter, take him out. Face Carpenter, take him out. Worked game 1.
Comes back to get him, and a strikeout for Hudson.
Emptied your digital wallet? We understand. Great Southern Bank. We're fans too.
Domingo Santana looks at a ball. Hudson back-to-back strikeouts here in the top of the 6th. Santana, very versatile player, plays all over the diamond. National League style of baseball player. 2-0. Pitches, by the way, for Chacin.
Everybody in baseball thought they needed to go out and get starting pitching, and their philosophy is not going to let them go 3 times the order, so why go out and trade for a big name starter or buy a big free agent if our analytics department says they're not going to be out there very long. They said there's nobody in their rotation that under the right circumstances, they wouldn't take him out after 3 innings.
And a 2-out walk. We'll just look at the postseason last year. You didn't see starters go very deep at all. Verlander a couple of times, but really the blueprint was to get through the order a couple of times if you could, and then go to your bullpen. I don't think that's sustainable over 6 months, but in 1 month, maybe so. Mike Maddox will talk it over with Lorenzo Cain coming up. Make spring training a part of your 2019 vacation plan. Get away for a weekend or stay a week. Cardinals Vacations provides everything you need, including hotel, game tickets, much more. For details, visit cardinals.com/vacations. Call 1-800-892-7687. There's been a combined 6 hits in the ballgame, 5 for Milwaukee, and also combined 7 walks. Yelich alone has walked 3 times. Moustakas walked, and now a walk to Santana. And Yelich has scored twice. Here's Lorenzo Cain.
3 walks by Gant, the starter, 1 by Shreve, only man he faced, and then the first walk for Hudson.
John Brebbia is starting to throw in the Cardinal pen. Pitch count at 32 for Hudson, so that pitch count starting to get up there, and Hicks continues to throw as well. Inside, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. It's one that Santana probably wishes he had back.
With his speed, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's 2-2.
Cubs a 4-1 lead over Pirates.
And a ground ball that's hit to short to Young across the diamond. And we move to the bottom of the 6th. Top of the lineup coming up in a 2-1 game. Milwaukee Brewers. Chacin. This is back-to-back starts now against the Cardinals. He's been very good. Cardinals hard to hit balls early on. Couldn't get anything going. They finally did in the fourth with a leadoff walk to Carpenter. They loaded up the bases. Jerko brought him in with a sac fly. And it's now Xavier Cedeno and our Chevy called to the pen. The lefty in to face Carpenter. Then he'll be out.
Been in all 3 games of this series. Game
and
over.
A strike.
August 31st from the White Sox. Gave up his first run as a Brewer in last night's game. Already his 13th appearance this month.
Here's an 0-1 pitch to Carpenter. Inside.
Carpenter only had 1 hit. That was Paul DeYoung's double. Remember, Carpenter had walked, went to third, and then scored on Jerko's sacrifice fly.
Crowd tonight 40,644, 40644. The per game average over 42,000. 27 sellouts this year. 3 million plus in attendance, 15 consecutive seasons. 22nd time in team history. Finished up third in Major League Baseball in attendance behind the Dodgers and Yankees.
How about #1 in Major League Baseball percent of stadium capacity sold? 95.6.
The first 8 Phillies, by the way, tonight against the Rockies struck out. Colorado with a 1-0 lead. 3-1 the count on Carpenter. One swing could tie it up. Out to left. And out of play. Good effort by Braun. 3-2 the count. If you have a squirrel, bring it on down.
Quickly. And we can send a plane to LA. If you watch Bachelor, we can get Kendall. She had a collection of animals, stuffed animals. Maybe she has a squirrel available for us.
3-2. You're a big fan of The Bachelor, are you?
Bachelor, Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise. Oh. Get my education.
Oh, I'm sure you get a great education of what real life is really like. That is,
you do what not to do.
It's true love, Al. If I've ever seen it. Here's a 3-2 pitch to Carpenter again. And a strikeout. Craig Counsell hops out of the dugout. Cedeno gets his man. Burns will come in with 1 out, nobody on. Martinez coming up in a 2-1 game. It's Sell Extras, StubHub, official partner of the St. Louis Cardinals. Take a look at our Chevy call to the pen. Corbin Burns
started the season as their second best prospect in the organization.
Martinez drives it out to left. Braun back off his glove. And Martinez to second base. And maybe, just maybe, it gets the Cardinals going. Ball was tattooed off the bat of Jose Martinez. It'll be an error on Braun.
It should have definitely been caught. It was hit very hard, and Braun went back on a little bit. Then it started swirling on him, get behind, so you see him kind of reach back up there. Hit him in a bad spot, right in the middle of the glove.
It's a double by DeYoung. Back in the fourth inning, tying run in scoring position. 2-1 our score. And a strike. The Hyundai pitch arsenal on Corbin Burns.
Fastball, slider, occasional curve.
Here's the 0-1. Up and in.
Hit him.
And it did hit him. First and second. And Ozuna coming up.
An error, hit by pitch. We'll take anything and everything. Just glance off your elbow.
I just wonder if Mike Schilt is thinking about pinch running in this spot for Jose Martinez.
It may be a good call right there.
You know, you think about not only the speed of O'Neill, but yes, the defense too. Tie the game up or take the lead.
You know, you run the gamble and you say we're going to take the lead here, and then I want to put a defensive team out. Not the worst thought.
Greg Garcia at the on-deck circle.
That's wants the pitch for his pitcher, and as soon as saying, I like the umpire's call. Josh Hader warming up.
1 ball, 1 strike. Ozuna tonight. Line back to the pitcher and walked in inning number 4.
Burns at AAA had an ERA over 5 and gave up more than a hit per inning pitched.
And the 1-1. Ozuna lines it to second, and a double play. A double play, and it makes it stay 2-1. The reaction of Marcell Ozuna. That's the way things have been going. 2-1 Brewers. game in our Chevy call to the pen. The worst possible scenario unfolded there in the double play.
The whole rule is make sure the ball goes through. Can't get doubled up on a line drive.
There's Christian Yelich.
Players have heard that from Little League all the way through to the big leagues, and yet it still happens too often.
Yelich with 3 walks and has scored twice. And Milwaukee a 2-1 lead. Cardinals with just 1 hit tonight. There's a slider. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chicago has opened up a 5-1 lead in the bottom of the 4th against Pittsburgh. Two and 1 the count. The 2-1. Outfield is deep. And a 3-1 pitch. Three and 2. Jacob deGrom finishes up his last scheduled appearance tonight. 8 scoreless innings. A 1.70 ERA. 3-2. And he walked him.
4 walks.
Brings in Aguilar. It's career high for Yelich. What a series he's had. He's driven in 8 and now on base 4 times tonight.
Scored the 2 runs for Milwaukee.
So Aguilar at the plate. They struck out, grounded out, and a single. And a strike.
Been a remarkable year for Hicks. It's his 72nd appearance. Been scored upon the last 2 games, but he's only allowed 2 home runs to 331 batters. Really dominated against right-handed hitters.
Be slider after slider with Aguilar potentially, but if he gets the fastball on the outside portion of the plate, roll over it, get that double play. We talked about it earlier. 17 double plays he's grounded into.
Early in the season, Hicks got a lot of double plays. Here's a fastball, the sinker.
Again, Yachty setting up outside, way outside, 2-1.
And Hicks is allowed right-handed batters just 3 extra base hits, all doubles. His 175 opponent slugging percentage is the 2nd lowest in the National League and currently the lowest all time in Cardinals single season history.
So you're telling me he's tough on the righties?
Yep.
2-2.
It's an A ball a year ago. Made the jump to the big leagues. Another sinker. Another triple digits.
And there's your double play. The young 6-4-3 on the double play. German Marquez has tied a modern day record 8 strikeouts to start a game for the Rockies tonight. Jacob deGrom did that in 2014. Jim Deshaies, will see him on Friday the Broadcaster for the Cubs, did it in 1986. Remember when Michael Wacha in New York at Citi Field, his first 9 outs were strikeouts, but he did allow a single to the second batter he saw. But the first 9 outs were strikeouts in that game.
And once again, your memory's better than mine, but he lost that game.
I believe he did. He didn't go that deep. I mean,
no.
5-6 innings.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a phenomenal start, but
he had 10 strikeouts in the first 4 innings. And the 1-0 pitch. Travis Shaw, and a ground ball, backhanded by Carpenter. Time to stretch. Scoreless inning from Jordan Hicks. 2-1. The BJC Healthcare difference maker, Patrick Wisdom, pinch hitting this year, 5 for 14. Home run, couple of runs batted in.
And this situation here with Hader warming up, remember Garcia at the end of last inning was going to pinch hit. Well, they'll send up right-hander to keep their right-handed pitcher in, and Hader in the bullpen. Well, hopefully Wisdom can do something here. He's done a nice job pinch hitting.
This is a Honda home run inning. Nearly $200,000 raised to help make children's dreams come true. Together with Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri, they help grant the wishes of critically ill children. Thank you to the Gateway Honda dealers. And the 0-1. 0-2.
These pitcher and hitter are both in the Pacific Coast League, so they probably have a little history among each other.
Strikeout of Wisdom. Cardinals have struck out 5 times tonight. They have just 1 hit. And that was a double hit by DeYoung back in the 4th. And not to say it wasn't a double, it was a smash, but it was playable.
Off the glove.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been a double play. That was off the glove of Moustakas.
Tried to backhand, and later in that inning, you know, he's a good fielder. He made a real nice play. to his left.
Out number 2.
Bello Cooling and Heating, #1 rated. Call now for special offers. Bello, answer the bell.
You got to wonder if the Brewers are starting to feel it now with Hader available. Jeffress as well.
Guess what? Hader's coming in. Well, we got to him on Monday. A couple home runs.
Happen, Budweiser will be there, and by Ford going further so you can. How good has Josh Hader been against left-handed batters? They are 8 for 85. It's an .094 average. Colton Wong will face Hader here in our Chevy Call to the Pen. 53rd appearance. Wong 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout against this lefty.
138 strikeouts, most in Major League history by a left-handed pitcher. At that 138 strikeouts in just 78 innings.
Shaw going from second base to first, and Hernan Perez at second base.
Cardinals got to him for a couple home runs, 3 runs total on Monday. Good rip right there by Colton Wong.
Wong is grounded out to second and fly to the wall in right. 0 for 2. Cardinals have been out hit 5-1 in the ball game. The Brewers have stranded 8, the Cardinals 3. Both teams have committed an error.
Big gap out in right center. I don't think he can pull the ball. He's been hanging in a lot better against left-handed pitching this year. Not to say he's going to hit this left-hander, but why not?
2-2.
Lanky, and he really slings the ball and comes all the way across. Throws a lot of sliders. See a lot of movement. He left a couple pitches right in the middle of the plate. A couple right-handed batters, and Osuna and Martinez gotten home runs on Monday night.
And the 2-2 pitch to Colton Wong. That'll send us to the 8th. 2-1 Milwaukee with the lead. Chevy called to the pen.
I see Carlos finish this game, whether it goes 10, 12, whatever innings.
And the first pitch to Braun, tap foul. We're in the top of the 8th, 2-1 our score. The Rockies will play tomorrow while the Cardinals travel to Chicago. If the Rockies would win tonight and tomorrow and the Cardinals lose this evening, St. Louis would be 2 out with 3 to play behind Colorado.
Colorado does have the 1-0 lead. Philly does have 2 hits, but
then you got to look at the Dodgers, and
yeah,
they're in the top of the first facing Zach Greinke, no score.
You know how Greinke could be. He could throw a gem at his former team.
I was talking with John Mozeliak the other day about Martinez and asking if this could be a role in the future, and they, nothing set in stone, but more than likely goes back to the rotation.
But I thought about that.
Yeah,
with all the young pitching,
things could change.
Sure, I mean, and then Adam Wainwright could throw a wrench in the plans too, with another good outing on Friday against the Cubs. Last year of his contract, but sure would like to see him end as a Cardinal.
Strikeout of Braun brings in Moustakas.
Carlos has done a real nice job. Chevy called the bullpen, in the relief. As a reliever, he's 2-0, 1.76 ERA, 4 saves and 4 opportunities, 16 strikeouts now, and this is his 14th appearance.
Cardinals have Bader, Munoz, Carpenter looking ahead to the bottom of the 8th. 2-1 our score. This is not to make excuses. The Cardinals have hit the ball hard tonight. They just haven't found holes. Lined into a double play. And the bases loaded, generated 1 run. And that has been it. The 0-1. But that's baseball.
Got the gift 2-base error by Braun out and left. And Martinez was doubled up on the second line drive that Osuna's hit today.
And the 1-1. 1-2 the count. StatCast AI powered by AWS. The spray chart. Back-to-back strikeouts for Martinez.
Got the good off-speed pitches working here today. Friday night, Carlos turned 27, picked up his 4th save in 4 tries.
Here's Eric Kratz with 2 outs and nobody on. Ball 1.
I think Carlos has the type of arm that he could, very resilient, could bounce back and throw multiple times a week.
That's pulled foul. 1-1. Cardinals looking for their first 1-2-3 inning since the 2nd inning of Game 2 last night.
Seems like they haven't had a 1-2-3 inning all series.
They've had a total of 2.
But hasn't it seemed like they've had base runners, whether hits, walks?
They're playing catch up the whole year.
Yeah.
Or rather the whole series, which has been the case. They've led for a half inning. That's it. And the 1-2 pitch now to Kratz. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Wanted to, didn't he?
2-2, rather 3-2.
The Rockies pick up another run, lead 2-0 over the Phils.
And another 3-2 pitch. Spoiled. He got him. Strikes out this side and maybe a little momentum for the Cardinals. Bader, Munoz, Carpenter coming up in a 2-1 game. Continue the season series, the Cardinals and the Cubs, as we wrap up the regular season.
Bryant did not start tonight's game. He was hit in the wrist by the pitch yesterday. He did report that it wasn't as swollen as they thought it would be. And they got to play tomorrow also. They're leading 6-2 over the Pirates without him.
Bader got the final out. Last inning, a strikeout of Wong. And Bader a good rip. 1 ball, 1 strike. Harrison Bader has grounded to short and also struck out. Hitting .330, leading off an inning, tops on the team. One and 2 the count. When Hader gets 2 strikes, the opposition, the average 0.48. 9 for 187. The 1-2 pitch. He adds to it. The strikeout. He's gotten Wong and now Harrison Bader.
140 strikeouts on the season. Major league record by a left-handed reliever. That's in 78 2/3 innings.
There's Jairo Munoz.
I saw a little bit of him last year, but nobody could have thought he was going to be this tough. Knew he was good.
He reminded me of Chris Sale when I first saw him.
A little bit.
Lanky, lefty.
Yeah. Sale a little taller, I think, but.
And Munoz on the first pitch pops it up. It's playable. 2 outs.
Hides the ball real well. And with the velocity or that slider, you know, arms and legs coming at you, you don't get a real good release point. You don't see it, and then that ball just jumps on you.
Here's Carpenter. Grounded into the shift, walked and scored, and also struck out.
think.
Well, it's only 10 pitches right now for Hader, and something to just think about. If he has an efficient inning here and stays, let's say, under 15 pitches. Now you do have Jeffress plenty rested. However, he's only thrown once in the last 7 days, so you know the velocity will be there. Will location?
Yeah, and if they want to, they can do it, because he's got 22 appearances, at least 2 innings this season, including 6 saves with 2+ innings. So if they wanted to go, they have tomorrow off, and if they weren't sure, they probably want to find out about Jeffries either way. But Knebel would not be able to, probably wouldn't be able to pitch in this game if Jeffries needed the relief. So good choices.
Carpenter 0 for 5.
That ball touched the dirt, and they kept it in the game.
And he's 0 for 5 against this lefty. 3 strikeouts, couple of walks. Cardinals with 1 hit tonight. And that was the double by Paul DeYoung back in the 4th.
You really have to keep that front shoulder. Don't let it fly open. Same for a pitcher and a hitter. But in this case, Carpenter really's got to hold it in.
The 1-0. A ball and a strike. One and two. Two and two. The 2-2. That could have gone either way.
Oh yeah.
Boy, how do you take that pitch?
Yeah. I think he got away with it.
Does he have one more exciting moment in him? Three-two. Spoiled. Man on deck took him deep on Monday. So did Marcell Ozuna.
Got 2 balls in the middle of the plate. About thigh high on those home run pitches, but pretty much been painting that outside part of the plate.
3-2.
The way he throws and the way he hides the ball, his 96 probably looks like 106. Got about a 10-mile-an-hour variance between his fastball and slider.
Three-two again. Now Carpenter gets on after the extended outing 2 nights ago. He took him deep. You got a right-hander getting loose in Jeffress. Does he make the move to go with the right-hander to face Martinez? Love to see if he'd had to make that decision.
Couldn't go wrong with either one of them. They've both been lights-out relievers.
9th pitch coming up. What an at-bat by Matt Carpenter against one of the game's best left-handers. They have a life. Now do you go get Jeffress potentially?
They're coming up the steps. So it looks like he's going to go bring in double switch.
Just a terrific at bat there by Carpenter. I think that's Curtis Granderson going out to the outfield for Milwaukee. Jeffress, this guy is nasty. He'll come in and try to get a 4-out save. 2-1 our score. He pitched on Friday, an inning, no hits. Only took him 10 pitches. Been dealing with neck spasms. Was unavailable in game 1. And this our Chevy called to the pen, a 1.35 ERA.
Has been lights out for them. At one point this year, Jeffress had 23 scoreless outings. You see Garcia, Adolis Garcia will pinch run.
He's 2 for 4 with a double.
Jeffress unscored upon in 60 of his 70 appearances, including each of his last 8.
Outfield as deep as you can play in this ballpark. Two outs, runner at first. Martinez taps it up the third base line.
Trouble.
May beat it out, and he does. Ball gets away. Garcia, he'll be waved in. Throw to the plate, and he stopped, and he's out.
He fell down.
Fell down
Halfway home from third.
tonight sums up the series.
Had a little misstep going around third, got his legs messed up, falls down right here. Of course, he couldn't tell, but he might have had a better option of going back to third base at that point. But wow. Soft single by Martinez, the throwing error, and then the trip as Adams will take over at first.
A liner that's caught by Wong. Garcia is the first out. Martinez has seen four. Four have gone down. Wow. That's all you could say.
It was Perez, the second baseman, who retrieved that ball around the tarp and fired the strike to his catcher. And you know, he didn't know where he was. He was spun around too.
So the Cardinals will have DeYoung, Ozuna, Martinez, his spot pinch hitter, coming up.
A lot of walk-off wins, Danny. Maybe another one tonight. Got a feel for Garcia, though. He was flying.
3-0 the count with one down. Nobody on. Hernan Perez at the plate. And a 1-out walk. Nissan drives at the game. Travis Shaw. That base hit into right. And then this little flare out to left. That would score a run. The Nissan drives at the game, and it's 2-1 in favor of Milwaukee. Shaw has driven in both runs.
And Yelich scored both runs after being walked. He's been walked 4 times tonight.
Pitch taken low.
And Colorado has jumped out to a 5-0 lead.
Perez with 11 steals at first base. The Brewers second in all of baseball with 120.
Power and speed.
2-0.
Power, speed, and a real good bullpen. They say the best bullpen they've had in their history.
It's now 6 consecutive balls, and we've seen the Craig Counsell will hit and run with this combination. 3-0.
Carlos has really had problems with walks this year too.
Nobody up, throwing in the Cardinals pen. The 3-0 pitch taken for a strike. 3-1. Ground ball left side, gloved by Munoz. The turn not in time as Kane gets down the line. It brings in Yelich.
Career high 4 walks tonight, and he scored both Milwaukee runs. In my mind, the MVP of the National League. And what he's done in this series just proved it.
Very short lead at first by Kane. So 2 outs, runner at first.
In career high 29 steals, but doubtful with Yelich hitting that he'd want to take the chance here. 2 outs.
Definitely don't want to take the bat out of his hands.
Exactly.
Number one, you could get caught. Number two, if he steals it, you got first base open.
Exactly.
And there's a strike.
The league's leading hitter, so I'm thinking they just soon let him swing the bat.
And the 1-1 pitch now to Yelich. Seven nothing Rockies, 6-2 Cubs. Cardinals trailing 2-1 here in the top of the ninth.
Win this game and still right there.
Two and two. Ball in the gap. Kane might score with his speed. He's off with the pitch. 3-2, 2 outs. Outfield is deep.
And now he's straddling the foul line. Kane at first base. The walking lead.
And the 3-2, he walked him. So Yelich walks for the 5th time tonight. Batting average stays at .321, and the on base percentage on the rise. The last to have 6 walks in a game, Jeff Bagwell in 1999.
And he only had 58 walks coming into today. Picked up 5.
Runner goes, and that's Kane, and he winds up at third base.
His 30th steal of the year.
That's a big stolen base.
It really is. I mean, and Carlos didn't pay any attention. Yeah, you can do that if you get the hitter.
You know, wild pitch.
Yeah.
Pass ball, and all of a sudden it's a 2-run lead.
That's why
it's
it's
their
not
27th stolen base of third on the season, most in the game.
And Yelich was running on this one.
Martinez racing for it and out of play. 0-2 the count.
Yelich was running on that pitch. Carlos not paying attention to the runners at all. Yelich has 21 steals.
And the 0-2 pitch. Runner goes again, and it's a strikeout for Martinez. 2 scoreless innings. The half inning coming up may decide your season. Walk-off wins most in Major League Baseball. The final home game of this regular season. Any magic left? They need it. And the first pitch is strike 2 to Young. Marcell Ozuna on deck, and then we'll see a pinch hitter. Jeffress was on the mound for the final out in the bottom of the 8th. His last 8 2/3, no earned runs allowed. A ball and a strike on DeYoung.
Remember, they had Jeffress, then he went to Texas, didn't do well there, came back,
and the 1-1 is a soft liner for out number 1. And the Brewers are 2 outs away from clinching a postseason berth. Marcell Ozuna. Tyler O'Neill at the on-deck circle. Miles Michaelis is up and throwing in the pen just in case. So 1 out, nobody on. And a strike to Ozuna. He's 1 for 10 against this right-hander with 5 strikeouts. That has not been a strike all night. Off the plate, it goes their way. And the 0-2 pitch to Marcell Ozuna.
forces you to swing at that pitch. hit the most recent walk-off home run. It was on his mother's birthday.
Brewers trying to go to postseason play for the first time since 2011. And then they were knocked out by the Cardinals in the NLCS. Final hope, Tyler O'Neill. A ball and a strike. Down to their final strike. And the 1-2. A sweep of St. Louis, and with that, the Brewers are headed to postseason play.
And they've had a good season and everything. A lot of people question whether they could pitch all year long with not a real strong rotation, but it's that bullpen got it, and a lot of power, and Milwaukee is most deserving.
Budweiser play of the game. They clinched their first postseason appearance since 2011. The Cardinals will try to keep their season alive Friday in Chicago. What happened couldn't happen. It did. The sweep. Post-game show next.